The Views of Vittoria Colonna by Stephanie Jones. Hello, and welcome to the College Historian Podcast. Today, we'll be discussing the life, the love, the paintings of the Vittoria Colonna. So, first, let's start off by talking about who is Vittoria Colonna and where she came from. Vittoria Colonna was born in 1942 in Marino, Italy. She grew up surrounded by her very wealthy family. In, in 1509, she officially married a lifelong family friend, Francesco Ferrante di Bezos. These two were betrothed to be wed when she was just 7 years old. When she got married, Francesco's job was in the military. Because he was a part of the military, he was unfortunately absent from home often. During the 1520s, while Francesco was off campaigning and dealing with the Italian wars that were happening, Victoria was growing in her literacy circle, which in that circle included Pietro Bimbo, Baldassare Castrone, and Jacob Saladio. After her husband passed away, she led a life of retirement where her poetic journey grew. She also grew into her faith. She soon became a nun. She was involved before she became a nun in the Italian Catholic Reform, but after Francesco's death, she grew to her writings and the church to calm the thoughts in her head. Some called her an introverted intellectual with concentration in spiritual matters. Victoria and her husband were classified as heroes, with their faces made into coins and medals. There were several made in different periods of Victoria's life. One was a Roman style, another was a Vietnamese style, with her and her husband in Roman clothing. Victoria was one of Sebastiano del Palmino's muse. A lot of the portraits seen of Vittoria Colonna may not have shown her physical features off well, some making her not look so beautiful. But they instead are there to help highlight aspects of her life. Sebastiano del Pinos described Vittoria Colonna as a young, radiant lady with blonde hair. Victoria was celebrated as a muse. She first met another one of her close friends and artist, Michelangelo, when he was painting The Last Judgment at the San Silvestro al Quirinals, where they both found out that they share a large interest in religion. These two were greatest of friends, starting in 1475. There are several poems and sonnets written for each other. One of the drawings of Victoria by Michelangelo was labeled La Mircea di Perseca. It was composed of classical features and a lavish hairstyle with a huge headdress. There were a lot of drawings made of Victoria by Michelangelo to be produced as gifts. When Michelangelo was creating all of the paintings and drawings of Victoria, he made sure he drew the widow's veil, or a headdress, but he also made sure to highlight Victoria's distinct features, like a long nose, full lips, rich hair, and some nice ears. During many of Michelangelo's work, Victoria asked him to send her the crucifix painting, which he was currently working on. It is unknown if it was made specifically for Victoria, but he did later give it to her, especially because of her love of religion. Throughout all of Michelangelo's drawings, letters, and poems to Victoria, Michelangelo was very smitten for Victoria. but she was not wanting a relationship, especially with him. Michelangelo was often reviewing and reading his poems to Victoria to get her stance and her expertise. He also randomly would sketch her out for pleasure, like seen here. Their relationship lasted until she passed away in 1547. After she passed, he wrote a poem. The poem said, "When she who gave the source of all my sighs fled from the world, herself my straining sight. Nature who gave us that unique delight was sunk in shame, and we had weeping eyes. Death took my great friend from me. Victoria herself foresaw her interment end, and was not afraid of death. In the other world, she believed her husband, the infinite happiness of divine love, were waiting for her. For a long time, I loved the world blindly, allured by fame, that viper at the breast. And what emerged? On my tongue, a cry of ceaseless wretchedness. So I turned to God, and help me came. So now I'll write, but with nails from the cross. His dear blood will be my ink, his exhausted body, my streaked paper. May I channel the grief, all I've known, all he suffered, into these poems." So, my friends, this podcast is now coming to an end, learning about the life and the muse of Vittoria Colonna. If you have any questions, email me, drop a comment, but I would love to answer any questions. So, hope you enjoyed, and hope you keep learning more about Victoria and other women muses. Bye-bye now.